Okay, this is lecture 16 on assurance. We'll positively tell you there's lots of test questions on this chapter. Okay. It says theory allows formal proof of known security policies. So we have policies out there which tell us how to build stuff and develop stuff. When I used to work in software development at Tinker, we had to develop software based upon certain guidelines because we know they work, okay? Think about it like, so we have, see, what did I buy recently? I didn't buy anything lately. But pretend I bought a network card, for instance, or a video card or something. So who makes video cards? AMD? NVIDIA? Bought an NVIDIA video card. I'm going to take that video card and I'm going to stick it in this PC right here. What's the odds that NVIDIA got with HP, worked together to make sure the video card worked? They didn't, because they built it based upon standards. They did it based upon policies and standards and guidelines. And by developing it to that point, they know it will work with other systems. A prime example of that is, you ever seen the London Eye? The big Ferris wheel, supposed to be there for the 2000 celebration, and they're going to tear it down, but they never have. Well, I love watching videos about making that kind of stuff. And when they made it, they were, I was watching the part where there's these, look like glass eggs where the people climb in. Well, they were showing that they made the glass in two different countries, like one's in France and one's in Italy. Okay, I can't cut two pieces of wood in my garage and make them fit together perfectly. How can you have two different countries speaking two different languages, cutting two different pieces of glass, and they fit perfectly every time? That's amazing. But they do it based upon standards and policies, all that. It's just, it baffles me every time I see that. It's like, oh, it's crazy. So a friend of mine did some work when he always like, measure twice, cut once. Well, the other day I measured twice. I should have measured a third time. I was like, darn it, that was wrong. Oh, okay. It says, so what should security policies be? A written policy is a document that states in writing how a company plans to protect the company's physical and information security assets. Well, so we have a policy on row state about whatever that stuff is on the door there. I don't even know. Is that an evacuation plan or something? We have policies on drug enforcement. We have policies on everything. So by having a policy for physical security of row state, does that make row state better and more secure? As well as we follow the policy, I would agree, yes. But do we always follow the policy? Like our new associate dean, he's on a roll. Every time they're not cleaning our building correctly, he complains. So it's funny. He came into my office this morning. He goes, "Yep, if you see anything they do wrong, you let me know." See, I'm prior military. I'm like, dude, I will dump my own trash. I have no problem with that. Because the point is, we're paying them and they're not doing it. Okay? So it's funny. I said, well, fine. They did dump my trash Friday. And sure enough, it's still in there today, since Friday. He's like, darn it, I got to report this. But the point is, we have a policy because we hired them. We obviously pay them money, so I'm assuming there's a contract. But they're not doing it. This floor, were any of you here like a year ago when we moved back in the building, they put the floor in? And they had to redo the whole floor? You remember that part? They did it, and the tiles just kept popping up left and right. The main hallway, we had someone about trip because it popped up like, a bubble, and they tripped their foot on it and about fall on their face. So they had to come and redo basically this entire floor. It's still got one's bad upstairs. I walked up into 200 one day and it rained a little bit and the whole row of tiles were just floating. First of all, we had a water leak. Second of all, the tiles are floating. But again, we have policies and security is no different. Okay, firewall policies. You know what? Let's check this out. Haven't looked at this. How much of a bed is turned off?
It's turned off. They're like almost turned off.
Oh, it's turned off. Why? Why? I just don't understand. Like, but it's internal. So what? The biggest threat to an organization is what? Internal. So, we get, one of you over here, Joel comes up to this machine and he logs in, then he's going to attack the entire network from here. Could happen. They could, But now, if we had a firewall, but again, if you follow policies, it should make you more secure. Design principles. It says guiding standards are relative, independent of policy. Now, these principles, you positively must know them. I literally looked at the test today. They're all there, okay? Principle of least privilege is that a subject should be given only those privileges needed to complete its task. Okay, so when I worked at Tinker, we were running an NT4 domain, I think. It was an NT4 domain. And we were starting to roll out, we had Windows 95. What was the next client after 95?
XP.
Was it XP? Okay. We're starting to roll out XP. And the security model of XP was a lot different than 95. And we started getting so many people couldn't access network resources. But what it was is the network shop was setting it all up with domain admin. So they weren't setting the permissions correctly for the users, and since no one in the network shop could test it because they all logged in as domain admins, everything just worked for them. So then we had so many people started calling you with issues, and now, I mean, I think it drives me crazy, but you ever tried to do something on Windows, you're even logged in as an admin, and you still got to tell you want to do it as an admin? You know what I'm talking about? Same thing with Cal. You can be logged in as root, but you still got to use sudo. You know, it's like, it's a good thing that it's doing that. I had an issue with Canvas today. We're adding a couple classes, and I have special permissions that other people don't. Well, I have a regular user account and an admin user account, but I guess somehow I linked them together. I don't really know how I did it. So when he added a new class, I couldn't see it in my admin account. And he messaged me back because that's because you somehow joined your accounts together. And since he added a class today, it doesn't show up under that login. I don't know, it was some weird deal, but the reason is my account was kind of like half an admin, but I have an actual admin account. It screwed it all up. So least privileges give people what they need to do their job, but nothing else. I wish they hadn't given me the ability to join them together. I don't know how I joined them together. Okay. Fail-safe defaults. Unless the subject is given explicit access to an object, it should be denied access. Okay. I can't think of another way to say that. Unless you need access to it, you shouldn't get access to it. Okay. When I worked at my ISP years ago, when I first started my internet service provider, what I did was I took the configuration from a friend of mine who ran one. Took it, changed the settings, IP and everything, and then implemented it, and it was working fine. Well, it was stupid the way he had it. What he had it was block the bad stuff and allow everything else in. Anything like that. Is that good policy? So if it's bad, you block it. But if it's not bad, you let it in. The problem is, how do you know it's bad? So, and I teach this stuff. I'm like, that's bad. Okay? What you really should be doing is let the good stuff in and block everything else. Okay? Kind of like I should be checking your IDs at the door, see if you're enrolled in this class. If you're not enrolled, you have to stay out. Okay? Well, that was bad. So what I did is I converted it to the correct way. Let the good stuff in but block everything else. And I had no problems with it. And he called me a couple months after. He's like, oh my God, is your system down? I'm like, no. Well, the SQL Slammer worm came out at that point, and that targeted SQL servers. And since he blocked the bad stuff and let everything else in, that was a brand new virus. It wasn't bad yet, so he didn't know about it, so he let it on in and attacked his whole system, took it offline. For me, on the other hand, I didn't flag it as good, so it didn't come in. So I told him, oh, dude, I'm good. He said, what do you mean you're good? I said, no, I reversed your policy. I've had no problem. So I had to end up providing him with my policy so he could fix his. But yeah, so fail-safe, kind of important stuff. Economy and mechanism. Do not tell me it's the cheapest one. So many people tell me it's the cheapest policy, the cheapest mechanism. No. So security mechanism should be as simple as possible. Okay. I used to have a cleaning lady who cleaned my house. And I went out and bought a biometric lock just so I didn't have to be there to let her in. She wouldn't use it because I was stealing her soul or something. She would not. She goes, no, I'll come when you're here. I'm like, oh, that's what I didn't want to happen, But really, it needs to be as simple as possible. Another example is,
leave the door open.
I should do that. It would be easier. Mary in the office. Trust me, if it's not simple, she ain't going to be able to do it. So we need to make stuff as simple as possible, but no simpler. That's kind of important as well, but no simpler. We don't want to make it to the point, yeah, be simple. Just leave. When I lived on base, did anyone ever live on the base? Did you lock your door? I don't think I ever locked my door. When I moved out, I owed them like $15 for 3 lost keys. I don't know. I mean, we're behind a locked gate. And no one, even my neighbors, he'd call me, hey, dude, I'm on a vacation. Can you run in the house and do whatever? I'm like, I never locked my door. So, probably not the best option, by the way. Okay, my mother-in-law went out the back door at 11 o'clock today. Finally, at 4:30, she shut it. I give up. Okay. Complete mediation. All access to an object must be checked to ensure they are allowed. Okay. I still remember this. Remember those EFT tours you hear about when kids go to high school? Jeez. My son took a trip to France. Way too expensive. But we were sitting there like 11:30 at night, waiting for him to come back, and sitting there, we're at the Will Rogers Airport. We're standing outside the security area, and he's going to come through. Okay, you know what I'm talking about? Y'all been to the airport, maybe? We're sitting there watching, and there's a guard sitting there looking down toward the gates, and you walk out past him. It's kind of one of those deals, if you pass him, you ain't getting back. So then, it's late at night, so the guy's sleeping in the hallway, and I guess he dropped something in that hallway. And he kept sweeping, he swept right past the guard. Right past the guard. Then he turned around and he saw it. So you think the guard should let him go back in and get it? No, he passed the guard. That's the law. I don't care if you dropped it right there. You passed the barrier. So the guard literally made him go back through security and get the stuff he dropped. That's what complete mediation is. Okay. Yeah, it probably could have just gone and picked it up. How do you know? You'd never know. So it's complete. You check everything. All access must be checked. Okay. It sounds kind of anal, but I was kind of impressed. Open design. The security of a mechanism should not depend on the secrecy of the design. DES, prime example. Still to this day, don't know exactly why some things do what they do. AES, on the other hand, is totally open. Which one's better? Caesar's over. Oh, yeah. AES is better. So the point is, you should not be based upon secrecy, because say it's a secret and I know about it. Am I perfect? No. Am I going to make, absolutely the best thing in the world? No. And if no one else knows about it, how are they going to know where the flaws are? And how are they going to point anything out to me? Back we had an NSF grant. It's kind of funny because I can make decisions no problem. You ever tried to make a decision with 12 people on a committee? Oh my God. If you've never done that in your life, that's a whole new experience. You can't decide on anything. What's the last Supreme Court dude? Kavanaugh, whatever the heck his name is. I mean, how long did it take them to finally decide? They still didn't decide. I mean, it's done and over with, but you get a bunch of people to decide, together they can't decide, but secrecy is still no better option. When it comes to security, if it's secret, I understand secrecy to an extent, but security of a mechanism, I mean, can you imagine them building an iPhone? Okay, yeah, it's secret, but is it really secret? It's not. Apple knows how, and all the developers of Apple know how, but, and I bet the government knows how too, Weird. Okay, separation of privilege. A system should not grant permissions based on a single condition. I check for username only. Probably not a good idea, okay? You really should check multiple conditions. I can't think of a good example at the moment, but that's just what it is. Least common mechanism says mechanism used to resource should not be shared. Now, you all know what object-oriented programming is. At least you probably heard of it. The whole point of object-oriented programming is sharing of code, reusable code. But when you were talking security mechanisms, they should not be shared. Y'all know what PCI compliance is? Be able to accept credit cards and stuff? Well, if you have a system that processes PCI stuff, it has to be behind 2 different locks. because a client of mine did it. He literally, between the outside and the server, there had to be 2 different doors with 2 different locks to get in there. And yeah, we had to have it, so we did. So can you imagine if there's only one lock? I mean, even here, I have the master key. Doesn't work for every door. Yeah, but yeah. So mechanisms used to access resources should not be shared. Because if one gets compromised, they both could be. Actually, yeah, psychologically, when I talked about, hold on, I mentioned it when I talked about, I think I did with the economy mechanism, but when I talked about the lady with the fingerprint, it kind of pertains to the psychological acceptability a little bit more. But that's better on this one. You know, I'm not giving you stories that are on the test. That's not a problem. So the security mechanism should not make the resource more difficult to access than if they were not present. So if I had to log in 12 times or do some weird stuff, you ever seen the movie Sneakers? Robert Redford? What do y'all do with your lives? You need to go watch. I think it's on Netflix. Excellent movie. And they basically, there's like a pen test company. They circumvent security. It's called Sneakers. But you don't want to make security difficult to the point where people can use it. What happens if you make it so hard people can't use it?
They won't use it.
They won't use it. They'll stop doing it. I have an alarm in my house. I like using it because I pay for the darn thing. But my mother-in-law there, I can't quite use it all the time, okay? Because it's too hard for her to operate. But things are getting easier out there. Have you noticed? I mean, we all have apps on our phones. Okay, I was playing with you use the Canvas app yet? Canvas app for your phone? That's darn good. It works great for sending email. I finally got it literally Wednesday while I was at the conference. I got it all set up. So, yeah, it was nice. And you can grade via it. I mean, you can send emails to it. You can do assignments to it. You can do discussions to it. It's actually kind of nice. So, getting very simple to use. But some of them were so hard that, you wouldn't use them. So they're making them easier so that more of us use them. Okay. So you need to know all of those, by the way. Every one I just mentioned. The way it works is I give you the word, and you got to match it with the definition. Okay? Years ago, you had to write in the word, but I changed it. Now I'm pretty sure it's a matching. Hopefully for you guys. Okay. Secure systems and practices. Formal verification of the entire system is not a practice. I mentioned the video card. Is there any way we could guarantee that video card works with every piece of hardware? No, there's no way. No way in the world. So there's no way to check everything. Can't happen. Trustworthy is sufficient evidence to believe it will meet requirements. This looks like they developed it under the right processes. It should work. And that's how we sell most things nowadays. Especially stuff's outsourced, stuff like that. So, assurance is the confidence a system meets security requirements, okay? Often based on the development process. We were C2 rated in the military, Capability Module 2, or CMM2, I'm sorry. What that meant is the way we developed software, the way we designed the software and tested it and everything else met these requirements, which gave us a certain level, basically an assurance level that we had a clue what we were doing, okay? Trusted systems is evaluated, passed in terms of well-defined requirements, okay? So it's been evaluated, it's been passed, everybody knows it works. Okay. All right, this entire slide is on there, every word, and you need to know them all. So you tell me which one's which. Let's talk about them. So secure. So is that door secure right now?
No.
It's not. It's open. But I mean, maybe it's partially secured because it is closed just a little.
Well, secured to the frame.
Yeah, well, it's secured to the frame. But I mean, it could be open more. So technically, could it be more unsecured? No, because it's either open or closed. My mother-in-law left the door open today. I mean, it was open. Until she closed it, it was open. So secured is either secure or not, okay? Property of the presenter. I mean, that door, the door is telling me that it's open. It's literally open, okay? I don't even have to think about it, okay? It's absolute, obviously. It's assertive. We can tell that that door is open. We can verify the fact. And that's our goal. We want something to be secure. We want to build a system that's secure. I should be able to tell you, this remote is secure, and you should take my word for it. And I can't say, well, it's secure most of the time, or it's partially secure. I mean, that wouldn't be good. Now, trust, how much do you trust me? Okay. So do you trust me more or, Jairus more? Okay. I mean, so there's different levels of trust. Okay. Says property of the receiver, because if you're going to trust me, it's up to you how much to trust me. I can sit there and say, hey, Eric, this is Eric, isn't it? You need to trust me at a 72% level. I couldn't tell you that. He has to decide how much to trust me. So it's really up to the receiver how much you're going to trust me. Okay? It's relative. Now, he might trust me at 72%, and he might trust me at 14%. It could vary because it's different based on individuals, and trust level really matters. And it's a characteristic. You want to be a trustworthy person or a trusted person. Or having, yeah. It's close. I was fixing something today. A major spelling error that's been there for like forever. I think it was on your final exam. I'm like, I've been using the same question forever, and there was a typo in it. So I fixed it today. It wasn't this, by the way, obviously. All right, that is assurance.